Have you heard about this personal and professional podcast?
Coaching in Session
with your host, Michael Rearden.
I'm not sure if you're one of those people who are giving yourself these ideas in your head that you're not good enough, or maybe the idea that you never will be good enough. Maybe you have a constant flow of negative energy in your life from the people you keep around you, from your parents, your peers, and maybe even yourself, where the benefit to keeping them around is just the aspect of company and feeling like you are not alone because you have people around you. Well, I think about when Robin Williams said, "You don't know loneliness until you're in a room full of people and you feel so alone or all alone." And it's something like that. It's not exactly what he said, but loneliness or just being alone doesn't necessarily mean that you are in a physical being by yourself, right? There's no one else around you, because you can listen to the podcast, you can, join groups or organizations or communities, and you can say, I'm a part of something. And that might be a wonderful first step. It's a great first step for some people. But is that the final step? Is that where we want to be? Just another person in the room? I don't know. I think about it quite a lot because the mind is going to distort many things in our view, where we see something that's a challenge and we say, whoa, that's a lot of work. Whoa, that's going to be hard for me to do. Whoa, I don't think I can do that. And oftentimes when you say you can't do something, it's because you feel as if you couldn't do it, or the mind is not giving you the energy to do it. Because if I tell someone to run a mile, they say, I can't do that. Well, let's walk a mile. "Oh, I can't do that. I can drive a mile. I can, complain a mile, but I can't walk a mile. I can't run a mile." Well, we have to begin, right? Many people are so afraid to begin that they don't even start. So today is going to be a wonderful place for you to start to pay attention, because we have an article here, The Mindset Distortion: Recognizing and Overcoming Negative Thought Patterns. Now, in this article, we explain what is mindset distortion. We explain how does mindset distortion develop, and of course, the impact to that. And then, of course, we give you the solution to overcome it. It's a wonderful quick read, so you can come in and get the solution for this mindset distortion issue that you might be experiencing or facing or dealing with right now. But today I wanted to express a different view on mindset distortion, because anyone can read any of these articles. And I just think it's so overwhelmingly boring if I just kind of read the article for you. Mindset distortion occurs when our thoughts and beliefs are skewed in a way that doesn't align with reality. Yeah, of course. It sounds wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, sure. It's wonderful content. Yeah, sure. But you can read it. You can get something from this on your own accord. I think the people who are coming to coaching a session, who are coming into the podcast, they want real life. They want an experience. They want, I'm not going to say a show because it's not entertainment, but they want something more tangible than just an article, a blog that they can read or that they can come back to at any point. What is today's meaning that they're going to get, right? So mindset distortion is literally just your mind telling you something that is not true. You have told yourself something that is not true, and now your mind is having to deliberate if it wants to do the work to make it untrue. Michael, what do you mean by that, right? The mindset is not true, and now you're telling me that I have to, change my mind for, to tell my mindset to make it true? Well, yes, I'm telling you, you have to do the work, right? I think about a story, and I haven't told the story for quite a long time. It's a wonderful story where I was a swim coach, and there was an individual. Let's call him Tom. He was 3 years old. I've known Tom for some time, teaching him how to swim. I taught him when he was 2. When he was starting off, he was afraid of the water, where like you couldn't even bring him into water. Literally, we were just kind of going into the water and just kind of moving around in the water, having a conversation. Eventually, he started to trust me, right? And eventually, he started to get more courage from being in the water, right? He was confident in his abilities and his skill. So he was able to swim, of course, naturally. And down the line, of course, he had a sister, so she was only a couple of months and stuff, but he was such a good brother. He was powerful, but he wasn't always that way. He was a timid boy in the beginning, as I said. He was a boy who was not confident. He was a boy who was uncertain of his abilities. And it was my duty, it was my job, it was maybe my obligation to that young man, to that boy, to say, hey, let's make something out of you, right? That's life. Let's build you into something better. And for him, it was to be a better swimmer, to get him to swim. And that's what we did. But I remember one time when he was getting confident and he can swim real good. Like he was a good swimmer. I told him, I said, okay, I want you to swim across the pool. And he looked at me and he goes, are you crazy? I can't do that. And I said, who told you that? He looked at the mom and the mom shakes her head. I didn't say that to him. And then he looks at me and he's like, it wasn't my mom because he was looking for an scapegoat. And he realized something. It was him. He was the person who said, I can't do that. The solution was to call me crazy. And for me to maybe take something away from that and saying, I guess I am crazy for asking the impossible. But I knew it was possible. So I encouraged him to do it. That was my job. That is my job today still, to encourage people to do the things that they feel is like it's on the edge of doable. The things that are impossible just haven't been done yet. He hasn't swam across the pool before, so of course to him it was impossible. Sure enough, guess what happens? I make him do it, right? And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, you're right. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it next week. Let's do it next year. Let's do it another time because today you're not ready, right? No. We're diving in. We're going head first. We're making sure we accomplish what we think we can't do. So he started swimming. I was there every arm, every step of the way, and he did it. Right? He made it all the way through. But halfway through, 75% of the way, he started to question his abilities. I tell you, he started to look at me and he was like looking at me to save him. He was like, please save me. Please save me. And I said, no, I'm not going to save you unless you need saving. You worry about getting to the end of the pool. And sure enough, he got there. And the moment he got there, you know what he wanted to do? He wanted to detest. He wanted to detest his accomplishment. He wanted to cry because it was so scary, because it was so tiring. And I know how to get around that, right? Give him a high five. We give him like a big chair saying, you did it. Wonderful, right? It's basically breaking the pattern, right? For anyone teacher, right? You know it. Breaking the pattern. He was starting a pattern. I finished it. He didn't need that pattern. What he was trying to create had no purpose. So I said, I'm going to not allow that to happen. I'm going to give him something to worry about. He was not going to create a distortion on my watch. I didn't allow it. So the mom cheered, I cheered. And then after we had some playtime, it was a fun lesson, right? That boy, when he left, I had another lesson coming, of course. And sometimes when they do something amazing like that, swim across the pool or something like that, they become fixated on maybe me or maybe what's happening in the water. So the next person comes in and we see, again, it's like a switch. Got a new kid, new student, let's begin. New client, let's begin, right? Where are you? So where they were might have been different than where he was. So now he's out of, my view. He's doing what he does with his mom, but he's looking back and I'm paying attention. And he's watching me have this lesson with this new student. And he's like, whoa, this person is doing wonderful things too. This person is swimming, they're doing arms and kicks, the same things that I can do. So it's almost, what was going on in his mind, I can only think. But on the next lesson, let me tell you, that boy came back and he's like, are we swimming across the pool? I said, not today. Not today. And he was like, right, like a little disappointed. that he wasn't going to swim across the pool because he thought he can get the same, feeling of being appreciated, of being wanted, desired, cheered for, right? But one of the reasons my coaching was so effective, and again, the people who wanted me, they understood what type of coach I was. It wasn't one of those fluffy coaches like, okay, sweetheart, let's do this. It was a drill sergeant. I made them swim until they took a nap in the car, and the parents loved it. The parents loved the nap time in the car because the kids would just be rambunctious. But then some of the kids, they developed the resilience and, more energy because they swam so much. They just had a higher energy pool. So just so funny because then those kids would just kind of run amok on the days they didn't have swimming. So either way, it was definitely interesting. So instead of giving him things that he was confident in, because he knew he can swim across the pool, I gave him things that he wasn't confident in. The things that were new for him, the new swims. We did breaststroke and backstroke, the things he didn't like. So then now he's learning, like, okay, I came in very confident. I came in, thought I was going to swim across the pool. I came in thinking I'm going to do all these things that I like to do, or the things that are going to get me the most appreciation. But for us, we did things that we needed to work on. And many people, when it comes to like learning a new instrument or something, right, they repeat what they're good at. They repeat what they know. And in life, sometimes people, they say, well, if I don't know it, then I don't want to learn it. Or maybe I can't learn it, right? Whatever mindset is going on, you're giving yourself this idea of, you know what? What's this thinking that I'm, trying to do something that's going to require so much energy. Think of New Year's resolutions. People wanted to go to the gym. Right now, it's May. Let me tell you, the gym that I go to, it doesn't get a lot of people, but I was like, we've got a couple people now, right, coming to the gym. It's May, they're all gone. All those hardworking individuals, they're still paying for their membership probably, but where are they? Yeah, sure, maybe they come at a different time, but I go several times, sometimes a day, because I have to not only go for me, but then I have a client that I have to go see too. And I'm like, listen, I'm seeing the people there, right? So I'm working out sometimes multiple times a day because, people don't like working out by themselves. So I do a couple things with a couple people. But, it's neither here nor there. It's the idea of you started something, but you didn't finish. So your mind told you something at some point that distorted your way of thinking, that distorted the pattern of you going to the gym. So you have to overcome the negative ideas or the negative thoughts or the limiting beliefs that come in your mind of maybe not today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it when I'm not sick. I'll do it when I'm more financially stable. I'll do it, another time, next time, whatever it be, right? We give ourselves an scapegoat. We don't take responsibility. So we need to start to take responsibility for all the things that we say and all the things that we allow. How do we do that? Well, let me tell you, it's not easy. It's extreme accountability. And I mean extreme accountability. If you're struggling with something right now, it's your fault. I know. Extreme accountability. It doesn't feel good, right? I would love for, you to be able to blame it on someone, but I want you to blame it on yourself. And the blame is not so much in a negative fashion, right? I don't want you to think of it as a negative thing where I'm blaming myself. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. Like, we don't need those negative thoughts, right? They don't serve us. What I'm saying is that if you don't have money, for example, right, it's your fault for not having money. You can go and you can get money. You can go create money. Money is one of the easiest things to get. Now, happiness is a little bit different, right? You're not happy, right? So we have to go out and we have to learn what happiness is. I didn't say get happiness. We need to learn what happiness is. Maybe you want fulfillment, right? Well, we need to figure out what will make us fulfilled because it might not be a 9 to 5. It might not be a Taco Bell late at night. It might not be video games. It might not be, being number one on the employee charts or whatever, right? It might not be that. It could be something simple. It could be going for a walk on in the morning with your family. It could be, talking to a long lost friend, right? Right. That can help you, give you some direction. But the mind is always going to be distorting itself to try to fit in, to try to go under the radar. In a sense, the mind is going to be your greatest enemy, but it can also be your greatest ally. So we need to start to say, hey, to the mind, like, how can we start to think in a more positive way? How can we, get rid of the patterns that were once there and have become habits and have become my lifestyle to something new and different? Because the person who might be 300 pounds obese, who commits themselves to go to the gym, to stop drinking alcohol or to stop eating the wrong foods, can do a 180 in their life. And when someone looks at them, they say, I don't even know who you are. I don't recognize you. And it's not an insult, it's the transformation that is shocking to an individual. They say, whoa, like you have changed. And if you have changed, you can say, good, I'm glad I've changed. Because who I wasn't happy with that person. I think of the singer Adele. I talk about this, here and there. When she lost all the weight, all her fans were like, Adele, you look better when you were bigger. I can't believe you lost all this weight. And she's like, I feel fabulous. I feel great. Why would someone try to take that away from her? Why would someone belittle her hard work? Because maybe they don't want to do it. Maybe because they are on that journey themselves. So there's going to be people who are going to be the naysayers. There's going to be the people who are going to be the people who like are saying, "Hey, like I'm glad you did it. Whoop de doo. Here's your trophy. Don't get too cocky. That type of personality." But the reality is, they don't want to do the hard work or commit to the hard work that you have done. And maybe they start, right? Maybe they start, but they don't finish. And that is true for so many people. They start and they don't finish. The people in the gym that they started in the New Year's and they're not finishing. Yeah, they'll start in 6 more months, but they would just do the same thing again. It's the routine. It's the mindset. It's the distortion of time. You think that you can do something for 6 months and then take 6 months off and then do something for 6 months and then take 6 months off and then life is going to be magically where you need it to be. No, it doesn't work that way. People don't get fat from eating one cheeseburger or one pizza. They get fat from eating one cheeseburger a day or one pizza a day. This is the problem. It's consistency that can either make or break a person. So are you being consistent in your positive thoughts? Are you being consistent in your positive behaviors and actions? Or are you being consistent in being negative? It's easy to be negative. The brain is naturally wired to be negative. If the brain had an option, it would be negative, it would be comfortable, it would be a conservative in the sense of I'm going to save energy, I'm going to conserve my energy, I'm going to conserve my brain power, and I'm going to do the things that require nothing of me. Well, if you don't allow your brain to challenge itself and you don't expect nothing of your mind, guess what? Your mind is not going to give you anything to live for. So the people who are just kind of going through life, it's another Monday, another Friday, another weekend or whatever. And I mean, I can't even remember the last time I said, oh, Monday? Oh, it was Friday? It was Saturday? Oh, right, weekend. Every day is a work day. There's no days off. I understand I have things on my calendar, and thank goodness for Google Calendar. This is not a promotion for Google or anything, but I mean, if I didn't have Google Calendar, my brain will be a total mess because Google Calendar keeps me honest. I'll tell you that much. It keeps me honest. I put so much stuff in my Google Calendar that I mean, I can get it from my computer, I can get it from anywhere. So even if I lost my phone, I could still get Google Calendar. It would, it's a reminder for me that something is next. But then it's also a reminder for, yes, I have something next, but maybe I have an hour here. I have some free time, right? What's important? Because we might, be giving ourselves all of these things that we have to do. We might be giving ourselves all of these things that we're not. And maybe we miss out on all the things that we are. Because maybe we're a good person. We are a good husband or good wife, a good mother, a good father, a good brother, a good sister, a good son or good daughter, a good employee. I mean, we can go down the list of things that, we can associate to, but those don't necessarily identify us more so than what we feel they identify us for, right? Yeah, sure, I'm a husband. Yeah, I'm a father. But what comes with that, right? The values, the success, the fulfillment, those things are important to be paying attention to. Because if I say, just in a negative thought pattern, I don't want to be like my father because my father was this and that, and I'm going to make sure I shelter my child. Well, that's not necessarily, a negative thought or anything. It's not like you're hurting anyone by that thought pattern, but it doesn't serve a purpose for your child because now your child is going to grow up without the experience or the understanding of hardship, maybe, or grow up into the understanding of a struggle, right? Because they don't have the negative, they just have the positive. And I say in life, you need to have both. You need to have the negative, you need to have the positive. And one of the best negatives you can give a child is hardship. And going back to the story with that boy who swam across the pool, we can swim in life too, right? Because right now you might be sinking. Right now you might have a cinder block attached to your ankles and you are barely able to keep afloat. And just in moments, maybe you're going to give up and give in and you're going to sink to the bottom. What are you going to do? Are you going to fight? Are you going to, succumb to the weight of what life is or your struggles and challenges? Or are you going to, give yourself a new voice of that voice that's saying, I can do this. I can swim longer. I can tread water longer. I can swim across the pool. I can swim into the destinations or to the destinations in life that I have my eyes set on. Because the moment you do it once, you can do it again. Because the mind only has to see something as possible once to understand that it is possible. And whether you do it or someone else doesn't, it doesn't matter. So the mindset distortion can be easily, beaten by just surrounding yourself with people who are already doing what needs to be done. Give yourself a coach, maybe. They're already doing what needs to be done. They're walking the walk, they're talking the talk. You want a, good body, a good mind, a good life, essentially, depending on what life means for you, because life can be different, right? Life can be a good life for me is I want to live this place and that place, and I want to be able to do this and that. And I encourage people to find people who have done what they're looking to do. Because if you want to be a CEO of a billion-dollar company, see if Elon Musk might be able to give you some coaching or something like that. That would be where you begin, right? You inquire, you become inquisitive, and then you can either follow the course he did, or you can, seek mentorship of people who have helped people just like Elon accomplish the goals and the dreams that they wanted to do. We all have the ability to do, but not everyone will do. And in this article here, Mindset Distortion, recognizing and overcoming negative thought patterns is going to be an easy read for you to understand what is mindset distortion, does mindset distortion develop, the impact of it on your thinking, and of course, the steps to overcome it. Because today, we talked about the idea of mindset distortion in a way of just being human, of just being naturally on this earth of what happens with or without our consent. But we also need some direction. So I encourage everyone to check out the article. The link is going to be in the description box below. An easy, simple read. And then, of course, once you apply this to your life, you're going to immediately start to see some changes because it is more of an awareness. When you start to say something or when you start to do something and it's against your positive mind, right? So it's more in the negative fashion. You're like, whoa, that was negative. Whoa, that was fixed. Whoa, that is not to my abilities, right? I can do so much more. So we don't take the lesser road. We don't take the easy cop out. We challenge ourselves. And I encourage for you to get a friend, a mentor, a coach, whatever, that's going to challenge you to be different, to be better. It might seem like, oh, like I have to, get all these people in my life to help me succeed. And no. There's people who do it without coaches. There's people who do it without any eyes on them. Their eyes are all that matter, right? But the mindset of who you are right now, maybe it needs some work and maybe it needs some reinforcement. And of course, you can continue to listen to the podcast. You can tune in to Motivation Emotion, our motivational video series. You can continue to read articles that we put out every single week. And from there, you can reinforce your mind. It takes time. It took me months, if not years, for me to get to the mindset of it is possible. The only thing that is impossible are the things that I allow myself to think are impossible. Because again, impossible is just a fancy word for it has never been done yet. So if you are in the mindset of that it can't be done, or you don't have the ability to get it done, it just means you are having a mindset distortion, and you have to do the work in order to get rid of that because it doesn't serve you. So fill your life with the things that serve you. Fill your life with the things that are going to fulfill you and bring you closer to where you want to be in life.